And we are live. It's been a couple of weeks or so, but we are back. Thursday night is the round table night. For those of you who don't know, this is our weekly, or usually weekly, look through some of your what if suggestions, and we basically give our opinions. But it's not just me. We are joined obviously by Sophie B.
Hello.
And of course our main resident of the channel, Haverok.
Hey.
Yeah. Last week I was in Spain for a little vacation with the missus, and we're all back, good to go, and yeah, Red Dragon, and thanks everyone for the warm welcome back, and I also hope everybody had a fantastic time with the Super Saiyan 5 video today. I had a lot of fun with that, and Trev absolutely knocked it out of the park with what I had in mind with it, so it was absolutely stunning.
Oh, Nerd King strikes again, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We will get
right out the gate.
Right on. But yeah, so basically, for those of you who are brand new to the live streams, basically you leave a super chat with a what if or just something you'd like to say, and we go through it and we give our own opinions and thoughts about it, and that's how it goes. It helps support the channel, and it also has a chance, and a pretty good chance, of becoming a video sooner or later if it's a really good suggestion. And even if you aren't able to do a super chat, that's totally fine, and Haverok and Sophie are looking through the comments, so just because it's not a super chat doesn't mean it won't go unnoticed, so just so you know.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get started with the Nerd King's huge start to the donation. Thank you so much, Nerd King. And it's his birthday next Friday. Well, happy early birthday. I'm not looking forward to it. Oh, 2 friends not there, 1 leaving forever. Just wanted to say you guys are beautiful, making the world a better place. Parents have problems growing up. The birthday request, just keep being happy. Don't be like me. Oh,
Nerd
King.
If we could hug you right now, we would. We totally
Yeah.
would. I think everyone...
Seriously.
Internet hugs. Big internet hugs.
You gotta give them because, hugs are nice. They really are. I pride myself on being
Hugs
a really
are
good
very
hugger.
Nice.
Like, yeah, they are really nice. But yeah, Nerd King, thank you so much for your contribution. And also, we really hope that you have a good birthday in some way. So just hope things go really well on your day, and every day, in fact. And the same goes out to everyone out there. So do take it easy, everyone. Over 1,000 internet hugs, says Red Dragon. Yeah, absolutely. Or should we say over 9,000? No, let's not say that. No, that's too obvious. But either way, thank you so much, Nerd King, and just have a good rest of the stream. Podo starts us all off with, what if Raditz could see the future? He still leaves the planet with Nappa and Vegeta, though. Well, for starters, if he could see the future, it wouldn't be good for our Dragon team, because he'd be able to actually see the way potentially how he would die. It's only the way... Unless time worked in a way where if you saw the future, you couldn't change your fate. The only thing he could do is basically just go like, well, I know I'm boned. I may as well try and help my brother in some way. Can't try and keep the bloodline going in that way. Also, he probably would be in the satisfaction as, if I'm going down, my brother's going down with me. Or something.
I think that Raditz is the kind of person who would definitely try to fight to change fate, but it also, I think, largely depends on how far into the future, because if he gets a Bardock at the time of his death level vision and sees Goku defeating Frieza and stuff like that, Raditz may even go so far as to try to change sides. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If you consider Raditz being capable of seeing the future really causes a very, very heavy butterfly effect, because if he comes to the planet and winds up never discussing something like the DragonBallZ or anything like that within Scouter range, it doesn't give Vegeta and Nappa any cause to come looking for the DragonBallZ, and thus Frieza doesn't know about. I mean, there's a ton of cascading that goes on, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Exactly. Vegeta would just go like, "Oh, Raditz is dead. Sucks to be him." Pretty much. But yeah, no, good start, Podo. And he goes on again, saying, what if immortality wishes required the GP's permission?
Oh, I can imagine that very easily.
Go on.
Hey, GP, excuse me, Grand Priest, can I be immortal? No.
No,
And
that's not
Grumpy
that's
smiles.
not the way. No.
No.
And then Shenron just goes, Frieza goes, "Make me immortal," and Shenron's like, or Porong's go like, "Yeah, no, you're not gonna like the answer." It's like, and they're basically, it says, "Hey, Frieza can be immortal." Hell no. It's like,
Frieza.
hell no.
But give immortality to that Goku fellow. I am quite fond of him.
I like him. I was like, he's probably one of the few people who wouldn't want it, though. Ironically.
Like GP can be such a troll. I think he would troll.
Oh no, he go.
All
What's
the
that? What's that, Frieza? You want me to give Goku immortality? Why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. I'm going to Kineticon, hopefully, if it all goes well, in the future. And I think Ian Sinclair's going to be going, so with Whis, and we had so much fun at Seacon. I'm gonna pitch that to him.
Yeah.
He does like fan theory.
Very
So
cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Podo's in again, and finally for now, what if Vegeta was already a widowed single father of a pure-blooded Saiyan daughter Gohan's age in the Saiyan saga? He probably would be a little bit more like, wanting to make sure that he doesn't die. So if things start to go a bit south, he'd probably be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not putting my daughter in the danger of Frieza," or something like that.
Well, the thing is I can already tell that this what if is stacked in a certain direction. But the truth of the matter is that I don't think that the daughter would be traveling with Vegeta. I think that if the Prince of all Saiyans, and being who he is, considering his relationship to Frieza and everything else, I think that if the Prince of all Saiyans had a daughter, Frieza would be using that daughter as a hostage in order to ensure that Vegeta stays in line.
True.
What would probably wind up happening is you'd wind up in this sort of scenario where, like if you've ever seen like Game of Thrones or other sort of like medieval warfare and politics type of shows and games
sending them
and
away.
stories, like it's a political hostage, but it's also a situation where Frieza would also want to get usefulness out of this Saiyan girl.
Yeah.
So what would probably wind up happening is the daughter would become stronger than Vegeta, but probably either more loyal to Frieza or wind up being in a position to where like she can feed her dad political info on Frieza for the sake of like later. But Frieza would definitely use Vegeta's daughter as a hostage.
It would be really funny if like Frieza would become her mentor of sorts. You know, a little bit of a little finger scenario here. You know, from Game of Thrones.
A little finger scenario, yeah. I could definitely see that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Nice.
I
Red
really like
Dragon
this
Force
idea.
2 says what this is part of what if female Goku. Future Trunks also shows up. Multiverse theory.
And future Nappa, and they make a future con.
Yes, absolutely. They just basically they invest in future stocks because
Oh my gosh,
futuristic.
That makes me think of like the original Casino Royale, which was a comedy take on the 007 James Bond IP, where there were like 9 different like secret agents, all like who were James Bond, quote unquote, who are all trying to do this same mission. So like you wind up with 9 different heroes of time, 9 different people from the future, all trying to save a future that they find out, the future isn't as set in stone as we thought, and now we're making a real mess of things.
Oh jeez. I mean,
good comedy.
This would be a fun idea, but I don't think it would be working out. But speaking of which, Red Dragon, we actually managed to finally come up with the name of the strange lady in the latest Goku female, and Haverok hit upon it, Kuroda, and that's derived from Kuririn, and it's a type of carrot, as you said, Haverok, and that was inspired, just absolutely inspired.
Exclusive stream info and spoilers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's extreme. It's you guys get to hear this because you showed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to hear it first. So there you go. Anyway, EM79. Oh, that's a new name. Welcome, EM79.
Welcome.
What if King Cold never relinquished his empire to Frieza?
That
Well-
one is interesting because, like, it's very like. As much as it is interesting question, I have a couple of other questions. Does Cooler exist in that scenario? Does Frieza exist in that scenario, or simply he didn't stop? If King Cold didn't made a son, or is Frieza a thing? Because if he is a thing, I think he would try to usurp the title from his father. That's his second nature. If no, I believe like it would still be a scummy empire, but much less, I would say, controllable and more politics, more dirty politics, less straight up invasions, really.
Okay. Well, I mean, certainly. I would also feel like Planet Vegeta would still be around, or at least it would be around for a lot longer. Certainly.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, that's a good question. Red Dragon Force 2 comes in again. What if Dende told Z Warriors about fusion early? Gohan and Krillin first, then later Gotenks younger, but guided more for earlier maturity. So, I think the thing is though, does Dende know about Metamoran fusion? Unless it's something that comes with the territory of being the Guardian of Earth, like, and being privy to the goings on in the other world. That depends.
See,
if he can, then I think he would.
I don't think the Guardian of Earth is on that kind of level of scale of the deities that would know things from beyond Earth, right?
I think that's
like
my case.
they have the role of Kami, which gives them a certain amount of like deific like power and class and stuff like that. So they do get to communicate with people like.
Red Dragon said that apparently Dende mentioned in the Boo Saga in the English dub.
In the English dub. Do we know the
dubism.
canonicity of that? Yeah, because that could very well be a dubism. They were very well known for that.
But let's assume he knows, like just for the sake of the question.
For the sake of the question.
So, yeah, I think that Vegeta would like to do it with Kakarot necessarily, but he might go for that with Trunks.
I could see him maybe, if it's during like the Cell Saga, right? I could see Vegeta maybe doing it with Trunks because Trunks is of his bloodline. Honestly, every single time Vegeta has ever been put in a situation where he has been forced to fuse with Goku in canon, he has always said how much he dislikes it.
It's
because
become a routine trope, hasn't it?
Yeah. It really has, and he doesn't like to share the glory, he doesn't like to share the power, and he doesn't like that he's fusing with Kakarot of all people. So
yeah, right. No. So that's interesting that it's an example of a classic dubism. So they're not as common nowadays, but early 2000s, you gotta love it.
Brilliant Scientist is always going to be the best dubism.
Oh, of course.
Cargo Robot, sorry, Cargo Robot is.
Oh, Cargo Robot.
Cargo Robot. That's censorship more than dubism.
I know.
Well, no, that's more like sugarcoating.
Yeah.
The cargo was people.
Red Dragon comes in again saying, also 7 years to bribe Vegeta to learn it as well. So that's kind of like going forward with it. So
I mean, again, because I don't remember the name of Metamoran fusion between Vegeta and Trunks, but I think if they fuse, Perfect Cell goes bye-bye, basically, to the fusion of Vegeta and Trunks at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right. Firebrand128 comes in with, what if Universe 9 took Frieza's offer in the Tournament of Power? Oh, well, for starters, they would be eliminated probably before the tournament even began because they basically were interfering with other universes. And I think the GP, at that time, the GP is controlling the rules. So I think if the GP got wind of this happening, he would just go like, excuse me, are you trying to basically manipulate another team? No. Bye. Boop. And then he would just be like, Zeno would just be like, what happened to that universe? It's like, oh, terribly sorry. Well, they were caught cheating. Oh, I don't like cheating. Yeah, I don't like cheating either. Can we have more fighters? Okay. Let's, like, get Universe 12 in there. So basically, Gene would be like, wait, what? So Universe 12 would be dragged into it, probably. You know that Zeno would do that. He'd be like, oh, but I want 8 universes. And it's like, okay, we'll get Universe 12 in there. I'm sure Jin will be fine. And then Jin will be pissed. So it's just like, you know that would happen. But yeah, I personally think Universe 9 would be completely erased. And I think Frieza probably would be barred from being in the team. Because basically he accepted the offer. I think that could happen.
I agree. That sounds logical to me.
Yeah. Red Dragon back again. What if Goku landed on planet Krei? If so, which clan? And I believe they're talking about Cardfight Vanguard.
Yeah, I have
Never
no
seen
idea about this. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's like United Sanctuary, well, it's Dragon Empire, isn't it?
I mean, if there's a dragon anything in there, it's got to be the dragon thing. I mean, I've never seen Cardfight Empire, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably would be either the Dragon Empire or United Sanctuary or something like that. Killian Buckley, what if Frieza got disjointed members of events leading up to Super Broly before the death of the Saiyan race, and he now has to prepare Universe 7 for the Tournament of Power? So basically, if he could see the future. If he could see the future in a way that it would be able to have self-preservation, he'd be doing this because Frieza is neutral evil. He's not chaotic evil. So he would do things just for him. He basically would only go about things for personal gain and personal, self-preservation. So if he knew there was a future that basically he could be at risk of dying and it was beyond his control, he would do everything he could to ensure that would happen.
I think he would go more for like Frost-like guys at this time.
Yeah, he basically become a con artist almost.
Yeah, he'll start building a serious army and like, I'm your benevolent emperor, Frieza.
Exactly.
I will save you from the demise.
Exactly.
I hate you, monkeys.
Yeah.
My lovely little monkeys. Yeah, you will help me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2, looking forward to Saturday. It'll be heartwarming. And they're referring to What If Piccolo Never Saved Gohan Part 3. That's coming out on Saturday. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that one. Thanks though, Red Dragon. He's back at it again with what if Goku found his pod just after Gohan was born? Early gravity training, maybe? Early knowledge of Raditz, maybe? Goku would be excited about it. So if he found the pod, okay, depends what's in it.
And it also kind of depends on who's with him when he finds it, because if Goku finds the pod, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because Goku would have no idea what it was in the slightest. Now, if Goku and Bulma found the pod, Bulma might get curious about it. She might consider the fact that it's alien technology or something like that. But I mean, like, where in the timeline are we talking here? Dragon Ball? Because I mean, like, if it's during Dragon Ball,
so it's
just
like
after,
months after, like a year maybe after the.
Okay, well,
tournament.
If it's after Gohan's born, then Goku isn't even hanging out with his friends at that time. So what would probably wind up happening is he would just be like, he wouldn't know what it was. He might get curious, but honestly, if he sees some crash banged up vehicle or something in the forest or whatever, he probably wouldn't even think anything of it. Not even enough that he would even tell anyone about it.
Or he would consider that's something that remained after Red Ribbon Army or something like this.
True.
So he wouldn't accidentally trigger the recorded message from Jor-El. I mean Bardock.
Okay, Red Dragon Force, I see how you say he takes it to Bulma for analysis, but why would he do that? Why would Goku do that? Goku's not the type to even consider that it might be anything, especially considering the age and how long it's been in the forest. Why would he even consider that it's important enough to take it to Bulma? But I mean,
Yeah.
I get the whole thing. Okay, let's just consider for the sake of argument. Let's just say for the sake of argument, he takes it to Bulma for analysis. Okay, so they get a little bit of early space tech. But you got to remember, there's going to be some damage there. It was out in a forest, being all covered with grime and stuff like that. They didn't have the same like technological boost that they got from working on Kami's spacecraft at this point in the series. And so he takes it to Bulma for analysis. Bulma might be able to work out perhaps like the fake moonlight. She might be able to work out some of the reverse engineering to figure out the propulsion technology and stuff like that. So they might get early spacecraft tech, but I don't know if it would lead to something as extreme as the gravity training and stuff like that until around the same point in canon, when they have more technology to work with, i.e. Kami's spacecraft. That's probably the way that I see it, is that it wouldn't give them too much of a boost with stuff, apart from maybe the fake moonlight, if you want to accept that as canon. And if you want to say maybe if you're going to accept the fake moonlight as canon, maybe you can even accept something like the Blutz waves as canon, and say like maybe she discovers the nature of how Saiyans transform, or Goku and Gohan at least transform into Ozaru based upon this technology, which might go a long way towards at least teaching them how to control that power.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable enough. Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there.
It's okay. No worries. By the way, guys, let's bump up the likes. Let's get them over 100, because they're a little bit low. So let's do that. All right. Nick Wolf continues with, what if Good Boy Raditz's Vegeta used your version of Super Saiyan % on Moro or Omega
I think it's
Shenron?
supposed to be a 5.
A 5, yeah. Also calling it now, Brohan Goli is going to Yardrat for therapy. Oh, so basically, if Raditz's Vegeta found Super Saiyan 5, R1, basically it's a more intense version of 4. So I imagine probably this would be Vegeta's power to be able to counter Ultra Instinct if it ever came back. But at the same time, it's still key, and Moro would still be able to absorb it.
Yeah.
And against Omega Shenron, though, probably would do pretty good. Not as strong as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but certainly enough to actually have the upper hand. Not be like trouncing Omega Shenron, but enough to basically give him a hard time. Certainly.
Basically with Moro, it would give him a better battery.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's that. But fair enough, Nick. Timothy asks, what if the Namekians stayed on Earth? Well, you kind of what you get on Xenoverse in a way. I can imagine them terraforming a section of the planet to be like Namek. As in, like, they would be up in the mountains. As long as they had a decent water supply, they'd be fine. They would
be teaching the ways of the warrior clan, probably, you know.
Yeah, so I can imagine them settling in quite nicely. Yeah. I think they'd be there, and they'd be a nice little means for Piccolo to kind of reconnect with his, original, world, in a way.
And have some people to fuse with. Yay!
And 2 sets of Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Wolf again. Follow up from last time. What if Pan got a form unique to her? I had an idea for Godly Wrath. Similar features to Broly's form, but with Red God Key Aura. So if Pan got her own Super Saiyan, as if we needed any more. But, okay. So, if something that we got Super Saiyan Rage with a half Saiyan like Trunks. So maybe in some way there is some kind of like... maybe some kind of power that is resembling like Super Saiyan. So, say for example, for the sake of argument, Super Saiyan, you can have Super Saiyan, but you couldn't have 2. So in a way, if you wanted to boost up Super Saiyan, you'd need to have some kind of means to be able to kind of tap into the original instinctive power. So, I mean, I think a red aura in a way or something like that. Something that mixes well with the gold, as it were. Something along those lines.
I have another proposition. What if her power would be tied with Gohan ultimate form, because maybe it is in a way, can be passed further and would explain why she couldn't technically turn Super Saiyan in GT, but she had in reality she has a much better power boost, but she doesn't she had permanent ultimate form, but she doesn't know.
Yeah. Of course, and the only way she could really make use of it is to be able to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Like, she has it, but doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah.
And it would be Gohan having to teach her how to, maximize it, or to even, bring it outwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Wolf says, speaking of last time, Mars, your impression of Sophie sounded a lot like May Kanker. Buck teeth, long blonde hair from Ed. I didn't think it was. What? No! No! Oh. For those of you who don't know, the last round table, we were asked to make impressions of each other. And yeah, that was a fun little interlude.
Yeah. He made me sound German and Sophie like and then an adding character.
Apparently I sound like
apparently.
Apparently.
Supposedly that's not what I was trying to go for though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we could do it justice again. You need to go back into the last one to get the full get the original in all of its glory. Well, I'm doing it right now. Anime Guy 01. What if Shin recruited the Z fighters after Mecha Freezer was destroyed and before the androids showed up? Well, that would make more sense, and that would make Shin more formidable. And it would also be like, him constantly comparing powers to Frieza. It'd be a little bit more, they would be a bit more shocked by that, in a way. So they'd be like, stronger than Frieza? Yeah, that would be a big deal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Shin would have more impact, and I think... But at the same time, he wouldn't know about the androids. Or would he? It depends. Like, it depends, really. But
in this situation, we assume he does know, and he helps them prepare. So, in my opinion, I think no perfect cell in this.
Yeah, no cell. And I think Goku. I think Goku would end up training with Shin.
Yeah.
And I think he'd bring Gohan and Piccolo along almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the long and the short of it, really. I think he'd have much more of an impact on the story if he introduced himself much sooner. Yeah. Alright, Sonic 16 Link 20. Hey guys, not sure if you heard this one yet, but what if Goten was a girl?
We have heard that one before.
We have had that one before, yeah.
But honestly, it doesn't really change up a whole lot. Even his relationship with Trunks, if Goten's a girl, all it would mean maybe really is that there'd be a bit more tension between them as they got older. I mean, at the age that they're at.
It doesn't really make a difference.
At least, yeah, at least in Z, at the age that they're at, it doesn't make all that much of a difference because I mean. If Goten's only friend is a guy, then she's gonna wind up being more or less the same person anyways. And I mean, Goten in canon, guy or not guy, is still like kind of a gentle soul and all that other kind of stuff already. So the dynamic doesn't change except for maybe if Trunks got a little bit of Vegeta's habits rubbed off on him, then maybe he might treat Goten with a little more disdain as a fighter, but I think Goten would prove their worth pretty quickly. You wouldn't see a real difference between their relationship, and that's only if you want to go the route of the stereotypical opposite gendered friends become start dating in the future. You wouldn't see any difference in their relationship really until like around the GT era when they're both teenagers.
Yeah, I think that fits absolutely pretty perfectly. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Goldfish asks, if you had to do a what if where the Ginyu Force turned good, would it be a specific member or all of them?
Jason Berter.
Yeah, it would be like an initial Jason Berta, and then Raccoon, then Goldo, and then having to convince Ginyu to like bail on their master. I mean, we've talked about it before. Ultimately, it would end up in a womp womp moment because Frieza would just like go, okay, no. But the journey would start off with Jason Berta, quite right, Haverok. Because, yeah, they seem to be the least evil. Like, Berta, for the most part, is just like, I'm just here with my best buddy Jace, and I'm the fastest in the universe. I don't really have allegiances, I just go where the paycheck goes. And with me, it goes very fast. And Jace, he's just a suck-up. So, well, I kind of want to turn good, but, if the captain says no, then I'm afraid I'll have to, go back to being bad. So, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Alright. DAYLEN64. What if the Z Fighters listened to Bulma and took out Jiro before the Android saga? What kind of consequences might that have? Well, for starters, if they basically destroyed the lab and Jiro, there'd be no Android 17 and 18, because they would have been completely destroyed, being shut down and all that. Imperfect Cell would basically just have to wait and try and find a time machine and go somewhere else. But yeah, we have no Android saga.
He would go. Imperfect Cell could go on on revenge rampage and eat some people. He still would be a challenge for them.
He'd be way more. He'd eat way more people or drink way more people. He would be a challenge, but it would end ultimately. Like with probably Vegeta, stuff like that.
Or even Kamikolo.
Yeah. Oh yes, Kamikolo. Yeah, absolutely. It could have some consequences. But we would be losing one of the best arcs in the series, though. That is a bit of a shame. Nick Wolf, what if Gohan drank the Ultra Divine Water before Cell? Not Korin's sacred tap water, but the water that would, kill you if you weren't strong enough.
Well, you kind of have to ask yourself how big the growth potential of the Ultra Divine Water is, and if it would even be effective on somebody who has already had their potential unlocked. Because, there is the theory that Ultra Divine Water has the same properties essentially as, let's say, Guru's ability to tap into that potential. So when you think about it kind of like along the lines of like RPG mechanics, right? Like even if it gives a person like a certain amount of experience points for leveling up, you're going to have diminishing returns if you're already as powerful as Gohan was by the time of the Cell Saga. So it probably wouldn't do anything particularly big. Now, if we were to say that it actually did have like a set multiplier, then I mean, all that would wind up happening is that it would give the equivalent of around probably like a Zenkai boost, which would just make Gohan's defeat of Cell easier in the long run. He'd still wind up getting beat up for the first portion because he doesn't want to fight in the first place, but he'd defeat him a bit more easily further in.
Yeah. No, I would say that's perfectly fine. Brian Corrett, what if Dr. Gero was never evil, but Cell was still? Okay, so basically, Dr. Gero wants to create the perfect biomechanical being, but then Cell just turns out to basically just be more like, well, I don't consider you perfect. Like, basically trying to create a perfect being, and then resulting in the perfect being seeing no one else bar him being perfect. Basically, good intentions gone bad.
Yeah, like 17 and 18 being just his adopted children. Like he took them from the streets and he upgraded them with their permission and stuff. Right? Something more like this.
Yeah, but I if that was the case, then that could actually have the Dr. Gero being almost sympathetic. Like he had good intentions, but due to the fact that he had limited resources and really was a bit more desperate than Bulma, I'd imagine probably, and also probably with all the years of being in the Red Ribbon Army, being kind of like told to like kind of make his stuff a bit more sinister. It would just ultimately, that's the only way he knew how to make it. So you'd feel real sympathy for him.
It could also just be an underestimation of like the genetics that are involved. You know, you could even bring in a nature versus nurture argument into it, considering like, you know, if he's still making Cell in the same way, even though he himself isn't a bad guy, like if he incorporates Frieza's genetics and King Cold's genetics and Piccolo's genetics and stuff like that, not really understanding them, like every Frost, like quote unquote Frost demon, you know, every character of Frieza's race that we have seen in the show, and we've only seen a tiny bit of them, but every character we've seen in the show has turned out to be villainous. So you have to ask yourself a question: is that a matter of nature? Is it a matter of nurture? And would that kind of like evil or even insanity and stuff like that fit into a story for Cell as far as his genetics affecting who he becomes?
Yeah, because I can imagine him wanting to create the ultimate protector for Earth, essentially. A bit of an, you know, Ultron situation.
Right.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, no, okay. That's perfectly reasonable. Alright, so Column asks now, what if Piccolo and Kami's lives weren't bound together when they split from the nameless Namekian? Well, it would make things a little bit less perilous when Piccolo died, because Kami would still be there. So
even before that, I think King Piccolo would have been toast before that.
They probably would have been a bit more like kind of, yeah, because Kami would have just ended up like going on his own thing and training and trying to destroy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely, the rice cooker may not have been necessary. Ruben Mendes, what if Broly was raised by Roshi? I think it's time to christen the child. Oh.
Well, I can tell you what, he'd be one heck of a more manly man. I think we'd wind up we would wind up with a situation where if Broly was raised by Roshi, we'd have a super pervert on our hands, and nobody wants that.
The legendary super pervert.
I mean,
yeah,
Jiraiya, really... except Broly.
Oh, yeah. oof, jeez. That's the long and the short of it, really. No You asks, what if Goku's personality was closer to Superman's? So he doesn't fight for the sake of fighting or getting stronger, he does it to protect the Earth. Oh yeah, so basically Sean Schemmel Goku. I'm here to save the Earth. Yeah, pretty much just that. You just have the dub Goku. That's pretty much what you have.
Allied to good, nightmare to you.
No, you got allied to good, nightmare to you.
I don't want to strain. I already did Yoshi. I already did Roshi. I don't want to strain my throat more with a Sean Schemmel.
Master Yoshi. We did a fan of Master Yoshi.
Plum, plum, plum.
Ring. Ha.
Ha. Me. Ha. Me. Ha.
But yeah, no, seriously, it would give a whole meaning thing. I am the hope of the universe. I am the light bulb in the darkness. See, kind of like mixing the two up there. Sorry. I sometimes doing the Schemmel Goku impression's actually kind of fun because it's just so corny. But in a way, yeah,
because it's bombastic and corny.
Yes, Schemmel does very good, absolutely. But at the same time, the cheesiness of nostalgia does kind of make you feel there's a certain charm to it. Certainly. Oh. Alright, Nick Wolf's next. What if Goku landed at Kame House, and what if Roshi wished to use, in Sophie's Roshi voice, the ladies love a sensitive single father. I did that so
the ladies love a sensitive single father.
Oh, I did that to preserve your voice, Sophie. So, but yeah, no more Roshi for you tonight.
They asked for Sophie, so I gave them Sophie's Roshi.
I think we'll put a moratorium on that for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Goku would be wheeled out as a prop. Basically, You say, well, this kid just came by my lawn and I couldn't just say no to the little kid. Yeah, you do that. We have answered this before. He'd do this for a while, and if it didn't work out for him, if it didn't work, or if he got bored, he'd just hand it over to Gohan. Pretty much. That's pretty much what we said before.
But the damage to the psyche would have already been done.
There'd be a lot of damage, certainly. Yeah. Or as Phil Swift would say, that's a lot of damage! It's like, oh, jeez. But, oh, that thought, though, is just really a bit oofs for Goku. But yeah, certainly. Sans Ventura, what if we had a DB story that follows Oob and the children of the Z-Fighters, like Bra and Marin and the like, as we get an official passing of the torch, like what we should have got after the Cell arc with Gohan? We
know, right?
We know this.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. I mean, to be honest, any new series needs to be like this. It really does. Because it needs to... Because the whole point of Goten and Trunks is to make them relatable to younger audiences. To bring it to a new generation. So, you know, you would want to have something that keeps it going. So, it's something in that way. Like Dragon Ball Online kind of does pretty well. Harks back to the past and all that kind of stuff. So I would agree. I'd say Oob, having trained directly under Goku, would be the main protagonist. And then basically the rest of them would be like the new crew. And Piccolo would still be around, as well as Dende, because they age much, much slower. I mean, I still find it really sad that basically around the year 1000, where Dragon Ball Online takes place, the only people who are still alive are Dende and Piccolo. They're basically the only ones left. So you kind of feel like, oh, damn it, I'm lonely. I wish MindSpace was still a thing. Yeah. But in fact...
Back to staring out at the wasteland.
Yeah.
God, this is nostalgic.
Yeah. But there was actually a bit like, you know when like, in the episode when Goku and Gohan come out of the chamber in DBZ and go like, blah, 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 my bride, I wish I were a carrot. No, but basically, and Piccolo would just growl and grumble and just go, oh no, my MySpace. That was basically, there was more to that line. And I was just like, I loved getting to like, I was basically doing Lanny's impression as Goku. Basically doing a double impression, that was fun.
Those are always fun, and I actually really loved, I loved hearing you guys do that when it came to the body swap with Goku and Ginyu. Because one thing that I've always hated is when they do like they actually did in the show proper, and they just change voices as well, They just swap voices, but it's like the vocal cords aren't the same there. You should be having the voice actor for each body doing an impression of the other voice, because that makes more sense. And so when I heard you doing Ginyu in Goku's body and vice versa, I was just like, oh my god, that is so perfect. And I love that.
By the way, Ruben Mendes also, what if... Oh no, we did that. Sorry, I got that mixed up. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Certainly. Hannah Rowan asks, what if Gohan and Goten met Fen Goku? Okay, so basically, if there were multiverse things, I probably would say, like, Gohan would be very intrigued to see the different, like, female Goku. Just in the sense of, like, the different dynamic and how it all changed. In that sense. Just a different dynamic. And I think Goten would just be like, oh, cool! Yeah, just be like, I think they just want to train and spar and all that kind of stuff, so I think they would actually get on quite nicely with them. That's what I think. Ruben Mendes asks again, what if Broly was raised by Roshi? We did cover that, but a second super chat, so thank you very much for that. LLOYDTHEZORUA, what if Masako was in Universe 7? Well, everyone basically... I say that the character that looks the most like me is one of those two drivers of the van that Android 17 hijacks. Only back
now
in the day when I had
DBZ.
a yeah, let me just see if I can find it.
I don't remember ever seeing you with a mustache, so
that
now
was
I'm
like
curious.
2014. So if you just look for
Oh god.
Yeah.
And they love to put that old photo with him with the mustache on when they cannot be bothered to find his actual photo. I found this on couple pages that you know.
I need to see Masako with a mustache.
Yeah, I had like that and a soul patch, and that was like that was
Oh my god, a stash and a soul patch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. It's just I can't imagine you with it. I've never known you with
basically, as Dr. Giro would say, I was going through a phase. So, yeah. No, that was pre-2014. It was not a good look. But yeah, no,
wow.
Basically, I'd be driving that van. That was me. Android 17 stole my van. Yeah. Nene Sword. What if Goku didn't let go of Raditz's tail? Well, straight answer would be if he just didn't let go, then Raditz would have been done for. You know, he could have just stayed there, let Piccolo charge up the special beam cannon, and then just jump out of the way at the last minute. Yeah, simple as that, really.
Yeah.
John Riggins. What if Videl met Gohan during the Saiyan saga? Gohan escapes Piccolo, and instead of meeting the orphans, his bonds were early with Videl. Maybe even she trains with him. I just want to see Videl used better. Well, I think Videl was used okay in Z. Very well in Z. But in Super... middling at best. Middling at best, because in a way, she seems very creepy in that, like, arc with Barry Khan. Because she basically... Oh, you know, she finds out that Gohan may have been cheating on someone, and basically she rips the photo up. It's meant to be sweet, but at the same time, I just go, Gohan wouldn't do that. He'd never do that. So basically, that was creepy. So, yeah, it wasn't written well. But...
Yeah.
Me and Gohan are one.
Yeah, Gohan would never do that, ever. Gohan's mine. It was weird. It was very weird. But, John, I would say what you said, your description pretty much is a good one. As in, like, Gohan finds Videl, like, maybe, like, you know, Hercule and Videl are out camping or something like that. Or they're out visiting a city, and then, like, Gohan meets them, and then, yeah, that could be interesting. Someone who's quite strong, you know, who's only, like, 4. That'd be interesting, certainly. The Jurassic Show. What if the Red Ribbon Army found the rice cooker that contained King Piccolo? Oof. I probably... Oh, I'm gonna play the sound. If they found it during the Red Ribbon Saga, and they basically unearthed it, and they found basically a King Piccolo, they would not know how to handle it. I mean, maybe slightly better than the Pilaf gang, but at the same time, like, you'd have Commander Red being... he'd be eviscerated. By, like, saying, I see you have your own king. Basically destroys Commander Red. Not anymore!
And I'm pretty sure that some of the chain of the command would follow King Piccolo. Go on.
Yeah.
Well... Oh yeah, Staff Officer Black's definitely he's gonna be taking charge at that point, being like, yep, we gotta sign up with King Piccolo, and he'd probably be happier about it too, because King Piccolo gets stuff done.
Yeah.
But because it's happening earlier in the series, it would definitely a doomed scenario, because everybody's a heck of a lot weaker and less prepared than they are.
That's until Raditz shows up.
Until Raditz shows up.
Yeah. Oh, that's always really good. Podo was elaborating with this GP Immortality what if about Zamasu. Oh yeah, no. Basically, the Grand Priest would basically, I want to go and talk to this person personally. And say, hi Zamasu. So you want to wish for immortality, do you? What makes you think you deserve it? And basically... just distract him and say, oh, I wasn't going to give you immortality, you silly. I just wanted to know how you'd react. Goodbye. You know.
I could almost see Zamasu getting away with it if he was just like... Because, okay, the reason he wants immortality is so that he could fight Goku, right? Which means he's probably done a little bit of his research into Goku's timeline and everything else. He's especially familiar with all the stuff that was going down in Trunks's era and stuff like that, which means he's probably very familiar with the various failures of the Kais in that universe, which ultimately would lead him to be like, well, I mean, you don't want a situation like what happened with the Grand Supreme Kai and the others when it came to Majin Buu, do you? I'm just trying to be preemptive here. I'm just trying to be think forward thinking. And who knows? The Grand Priest could still say no, but I mean, Zamasu would have an excuse on hand and ready.
I mean, at least in the anime, you can see that, that Grand Priest is more or less pro-mortal rather than pro-god. Like, he really likes to troll, the most powerful GOTs.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think he will try to teach him a lesson or give him the immortality, but with a monkey's paw.
Yeah, maybe like some kind of crux to it. Basically, saying, "Oh, you didn't ask for it in a specific way. Oops." That kind of stuff.
Or you can still be damaged. You are immortal, but you can still be damaged.
Yes. True.
I always love those kinds of like monkey paw wishes, because I was actually thinking about this myself when I was watching the What If Fem Goku video, the most like recent pair, when Frieza's fighting them and thinks he's immortal at first. I was thinking, what if Frieza was immortal, but his body didn't recover the way that Zamasu's does in Super? Like, his wounds were persistent forever. He'll always live through them, but he still feels the pain, and they don't heal properly, and everything else. So you still get tired, you still get hurt, you've still got gashes and slashes and lost limbs, but you just continue to live and suffer.
Oh, that would look gnarly after a few years. Oof.
Yeah.
Alright, Minion of the East. What if Krillin decided to train under the Crane Hermit instead of Roshi, then faced off against Goku in the 21st tournament? This is a good one. We've had this a couple of times before, but basically, you can imagine that maybe Roshi doesn't like the cut of Krillin's jib, or maybe Krillin doesn't, finds Roshi to be a disappointment, as it were. Like, he's not as great as he's cracked up to be. So goes to Master Shen instead. So basically, that would be an interesting dynamic. We'd basically have no need for Ten Shinhan later on. Like, or his impact would be nowhere near as significant. You'd have that in the 21st tournament. I mean, Goku would probably still win, but, you'd have that rivalry going on for a long time. So it would certainly keep things going for that first arc. So, yeah. And also, it depends on whether he would actually end up making friends with Goku in the end. But if he doesn't, and then basically King Piccolo kills him, the impact wouldn't be nowhere near as profound. And that'd be a real shame to not have that there. So, it's an interesting thought experiment. We'll make a note of it. Alright, Darren Hardy's next. Darn work again, but my future headcanon. What if Pan and Bulla found out about Piccolo's clothes beam and had tea parties? Princess Trunks as a special guest. Oh, they'd be doing it as pranks. Totally. As in, like, Vegeta. Bulla would just be playing clothes beam on Vegeta.
When he is asleep on the sofa, yeah.
No,
who did this time? You are both grounded!
Oh, no, basically, he goes, finally, I got rid of that darn pink shirt. Clothes beam, pink shirt's back. No! Cannot take it off. That would be funny. It'd be cute. It's a bit stereotypical, but it's cute. But I can imagine probably, it's there for comedic purposes. Either that or basically Bulla would never need to go shopping again.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bulla would improve this and will make it to special clothes canon.
No, she opens a sustainable clothes company.
Yeah.
Sustainable clothing. Kind to the environment and all that.
Big green threads.
We may need to work
big green threads.
But no, good one, Darren. Ruben's back again with What If Broly Was Raised by Roshi. We have covered this, but I think, don't worry, Ruben. Thank you very much.
Legendary super pervert. That's what would happen.
Nene said, what if Goku Black killed future Trunks instead of future Bulma? Well, we played the sound. There would be literally no one to stop Goku Black in the future. Future Bulma would have to be the one to go back to the past. But, you know, like, with Trunks not being there, yeah, it'd be something a bit... It'd be a bit precarious, certainly.
Vegeta could snap, though.
Oh, yeah, true. That is very true. So we could see Vegeta, like, you know, breaking maybe into Blue Evolution a bit sooner.
I mean, in that case, I think we could have Beerus stepping in?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Beerus might just go like, you know, this matters a lot to you, doesn't it, Saiyan? As in, like, yeah, maybe just this profound reaction is, like, one of the things that gets through to Beerus.
I mean, not only that, but Beerus would know that if he learned that Black and Zamasu effectively killed him in that timeline, he would he would just feel that
all right, I'ma head out. Pretty much, like he would be like, nope. Even though it's not me, I'm not having some bumbling fool decide to kill my future self. No. So yeah, it's like, all right, Goku Black, now it is personal. So yeah, true. Okay, right, let's see. All right, I think with this result, the super chats are now closed. Thank you so much for your contributions. We're cutting a little bit earlier because basically we're all, you know, a little bit sick or tired in some way. So basically, we're just gonna kind of curtail things for the moment, and then just see how things go. But basically, please do not contribute any more super chats for the moment. But basically, you know. If we do have time, maybe if you do put one in, but right now we're going to go through the backlog. So just thank you for your submissions all the same. Alright, so next one is Frost the Hobbit and White Lion. What if BoJack was actually an interesting villain? Well, in a way, he kind of is interesting in a way. The fact that he actually has interests and stuff. But I feel like they really needed to kind of give him a bit more of a backstory on how he became a space pirate, in a way, to actually make us understand his adventure and his story. So, and how he got this power. There's a lot of just things you don't know about BoJack.
Yeah, if you are interested in our take, we made a whole discussion, you know, discussing how to make him into more modern.
Yes, of course.
Setup.
No, absolutely. So basically, go and check out that What If BoJack Was Better video, pretty much. Timothy Uchiha, what if Piccolo and Kami fused during the Saiyan Saga? I have actually done this video. It's one of my oldest what ifs, and it's what if Piccolo and Kami fused early. So if you want to go and check out that video, that will answer your question, Timothy. Bombastic Blake Diamond, what if Guru fused with Nail instead of dying? Well, it kind of depends whether you can as an elder. It's not been said whether elders can fuse or not. And I don't think Guru would want to, in a way. But let's say for the argument that he does.
I would say he can, because like we can. Kami was kinda an elder as a guardian, you know. He had similar set of powers.
So basically, you know, Nail would just like, you know, I think Nail would be the dominant personality. But basically, he'd be able to have the ability to make DragonBallZ. He'd be like this hybrid clan member, like both a warrior and dragon clan, you know, being.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be a fighter that could make DragonBallZ. So he'd be very useful.
Could he? Because Kamikolo is also a hybrid clan, but Namekian, but he cannot create DragonBallZ.
But I think that's got something to do with that split.
Maybe.
I think it's got something to do with that split. Guru and Nail are two different Namekians, whereas Kamikolo is two Namekians forming back into one.
Yeah.
But it's just with Piccolo being the dominant being this time around.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hannah Rowan, what if the Broly movie happened during Resurrection of F? Well, that would have been a much more interesting story for Frieza, instead of Frieza just being the same old person. Yeah, seriously, that movie's not aged well. It really is not.
Resurrection F is probably... No, it definitely is my least favorite of the Dragon Ball Super movies, and it actually ranks pretty low as far as
The
my
Z
opinion
movies,
of Dragon Ball movies in general.
Yeah. Technically, it's
Like,
a Z movie.
oh yeah, because I forgot that they call Battle of Gods and Resurrection F Z movies. That's right.
So they're
But,
out of 15. I imagine it's probably in the lower 5.
Yeah, it's rated pretty low for me. I know some people who like it because, you know, Frieza, but honestly,
Frieza
Frieza
is my
as a
favorite
villain.
character, but Frieza is my favorite character. I don't like this movie, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see in the theaters and stuff like that, but yeah, it's just. But yeah, Jesse,
Dragon Ball Resurrection, oof, that's really
good
good.
one,
Yes,
Jesse.
yes.
Good one, Jesse.
Like-
It's Resurrection.
Like when I was in the UK to see Broly with Mas, we watched the very next day we watched Resurrection F, and we were like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it really did not.
No.
It was just no. And I'd seen Broly in Japan, so it's basically, yeah, it was just the comparison was just,
No.
yikes. Yeah, Heartless Fang, the cutoff has indeed happened. So yeah, just so you know. Blake James, morning all. What if Krillin or Gohan also got the healing ability from Guru's potential unlock? What other sort of abilities do you think it could make? Well, according to this, the unlocking of potential is basically all to do with unlocking the potential in a particular person. Like for Dende, for example, he is a Dragon Clan member, and his potential was the ability to heal. For most people, most fighters, it's quite basic. You know, you get stronger. For in quite a few, if Bulma ever gets her potential unlocked, her brain is supercharged to like the greatest human that ever lived. Basically.
Imagine Puar and Oolong. They would gain insane gains from that.
Oh yeah, of course. They would actually be their transformation abilities would be permanent, and they could basically transform into anything, like anything. No questions asked, no drain on power, no time limits, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Red Dragon Force 2. This comes from Thunder Student. What if Beerus woke up during the Shadow Dragon arc? Also, all Z fighters train with Whis, revives Piccolo as well. They better learn to make good food. Well, if Beerus woke up during the Shadow Dragon arc, I think he'd be like, what's going on here? Don't tell me you broke your Dragon Balls. Really? But I think basically he would just be like against Omega Shenron. And Omega Shenron would basically, he'd recognize Beerus. He'd be like, oh, sorry, Lord Beerus. Oh, or something like that.
I think what might wind up happening, right, is Beerus wakes up, he hears about the whole story of the Super Saiyan God like he does in Battle of Gods, right? But the Shadow Dragon arc's going on. And so he comes to Earth searching for the Super Saiyan God, all that good stuff. And he basically tells the Shadow Dragons, don't interfere with my fight because I want to experience what this Super Saiyan's potential is because I'm looking to fight the Super Saiyan God. And so he fights Goku at Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, all that good jazz like in Battle of Gods. And then basically is like, this just will not do. and at which point he's like, okay, it's time for you lot to get back in your Dragon Balls so that we can figure out how I can fight this Super Saiyan God. At which point Omega Shenron would just be like,
okay,
damn it.
Shucks.
It'd be just like, shoot.
Oh, shut! Really? Gosh!
I was about to win!
That was supposed to be my saga.
But we need you in the Dragon Ball so that I can find out what this Super Saiyan God is.
Yeah, pretty much. The Batosai then asks, what if Lani or Kaiser joined a roundtable live stream? I don't know whether I would actually want them on a live stream, to be honest, because, you know, my posse right here is perfectly suited to madcap what-ifs. I don't think
Aw, thank you.
I don't think those two would take it seriously, Lani and Kaiser.
Well,
So-
if you've ever watched some of their stuff, they don't have very many nice things to say about what-ifery, and that's
Well,
just
what if
silly.
Nappa turned good came out of spite? Out of
I know! That was from their Broly review, wasn't it?
yeah.
It was like from their
Yeah.
Broly review
Oh
or
no,
something
they were
like
playing
that.
a game. They were playing a game, and they were talking about
Oh,
what if,
that's
and they
right.
were saying like, what if Nappa turned good or
That's
something
right.
like that. And I remember just going,
Oh
yeah?
my gosh.
And then we basically came up with it.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they don't take a very positive outlook on what-ifery. I'd love to talk with them sometime, but I mean, it warms my heart to hear you say such positive things about me and Haverok, Mas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Next up is Nick Wolf. What if no, since TN likes country and launched the city, what if they settled for a Wild West town life? Then Tenshinhan, as Ocean put it, could truly be a three-eyed cowboy. Oh yeah, I forgot the Ocean Dub said that. I imagine that would probably be like a good compromise, as in like lunch would be down the saloon, as it were.
Sheriff Tien and his partner Chaozu.
They call him the three-eyed cowboy.
Deputy Sheriff Tien and Deputy Chaozu.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it basically the majority of Tenshinhan's duties is basically to escort Launch home from the saloon.
I hear that the outlaw Tao Pai Pai came to town here recently.
What's a mercenary
I'm looking
like you doing
to
in
bring
my
him to
town?
justice.
Yeah,
You best not be causing trouble in my town.
Come here, Deputy Babyface.
yeah.
Don't call me that, Tien.
It's the three-eyed cowboy and the baby face. That's their posse. The three-eyed cowboy and the baby face. Doesn't have quite the ring of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
We kind of
Oh,
went
the
on a
baby
tangent
face
and
kid.
didn't answer the question.
Alright, sorry. But no, in a way, no, I'd say we did sort of. It was like, it's a good compromise. As in, like, if you wanted to try and shoot literally as them as two figurines and try and bash them together in your own world, this is the best setting to do it. So I would say, yeah, no, that's a fair assessment. The Royal Tiger Mercenaries asks, what if Gohan was absorbed by Buu early, so Goku fused with Shin to fight Buuhan instead of Vegeta? It'd be an interesting permanent fusion and give Shin something to do. Oh yeah, because if a Kai's involved in it, then the fusion's permanent. Well,
Yeah.
until they can use the DragonBallZ, of course.
You know, that's always been curious to me as well. If the Potara earrings are used once to achieve a permanent Kai fusion, can they be used again? Could you do a could you wind up with Kibito Kai, right? With Shin and Kibito fusing to demonstrate the power of the Potara, and then wind up with Kibito Kai having to fuse with Goku in order to defeat Super Buu.
I think that that the problem would be that I think you can, but the fusion might be more mentally unstable with more people.
I could see that.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a very interesting thought experiment in a way.
It presents a very intriguing conundrum because A, we'll actually be working with a real permanent fusion. B, you're incorporating a deity into the situation, and that could pose a lot of different problems as far as like the whole heavenly chain of command and everything like that goes. If Shin winds up fused with a mortal, and the permanent Kai fusion makes sense, Hawkness, because Elder Kai is a Kai, and he fused with the witch, and they stayed fused for however many hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So, as long as a Kai is involved, the fusion is still permanent.
Yes.
Is my understanding.
Same with Fusamasu.
Yes.
Yeah, Fuse Zamasu was also permanent.
Mm-hmm.
It was just weird and wonky because of the immortality wish.
Yes, exactly. Alright, Jerry Sandoval. Next, what if Bulma gained access to all of Frieza's technology and ships on or after Namek? Well, basically, it would just evolve the space travel some more. If she had the medical chamber, it would be a massive step forward in terms of medicine. Like that, I think that's the biggest thing that she probably could gain from having it.
That's a huge thing that I incorporated into my what if Krillin got a power up thing, is because I invented Kaioshin, and then I also created a very, very bad side effect for Kaioshin, which resulted in Bulma having to reverse Frieza's healing tank technology. And I was like, why didn't they try to reverse engineer some of the healing tank technology, which led me to realize, well, that's the thing, is senzu beans take so long to like grow and stuff like that. Yeah. They always have such a limited amount. And then I thought to myself, well, Trunks destroyed the ship, so I can understand them not having access to it. But if Trunks didn't destroy the ship, and that's kind of what led me to write in how Bulla in my what if was explicitly given orders by future Bulma not to destroy Frieza's ship. That way, past Bulma would have access to more technology.
True. Okay, right. Next up, Killian Buckley. What if Goku took over the Cold Force by accident? Okay. So, okay, like, say for example, like maybe the soldiers, out of fear, they find out that, oh, if Trunks basically didn't destroy the minions, as it were, and basically just destroy King Cold and stuff like that, Trunks disappears. The soldiers then, basically emerge, and they all think that Goku was the one that finished off King Cold and Frieza in the end. So they basically, Master you are our new master, and stuff like that. I think Goku would probably just go along with it for a while, just to get them to go away.
He would make them a dojo. He might make a dojo.
Maybe, yeah. Dojo out in space. A space
dojo. And properly Z Fighters Force. Z Fighters. See if like maybe Bulma would convince him to create Z Fighters Police Force or something, like Space Police. Like and Galactic Patrol would be kind of envious of them.
Yes, DragonBall's own SPD. It would be Dragon Ball SPD.
Can you imagine like Jacko being jealous of, you are getting on the territory of the super elite?
Absolutely.
I cannot do that voice.
No, don't worry. Alright, next one is Jesse Golf. What if Ginyu wasn't written into the Frieza movie just to lose? What if Light Yagami destroyed Cell's nucleus with the Death Note? TFS Cell versus scenario. Well, Light would probably have to know about the nucleus, but in a way, if the nucleus... That's actually not a bad idea. If Light just said, Cell's nucleus will basically implode, and yeah, that would be the way to kill him. Yeah. That's it. So if Light had the knowledge about how Cell's nucleus worked, and that it was there, and how important it was, he would do that rather than just giving him a heart attack. Because Cell's heart would just instantly regenerate.
Also, Ginyu didn't die in the movie, but in Super
Saga. They switched it around, because in the movie, Frieza just blasts the thing out, and then basically Dagoma just goes through, sent out into space. Yeah, that was an odd scene. It was just like, why would you do that? Your force is already really small, but you basically eject most of them into space, including Tagoma, one of your strongest.
Like Frieza is really stupid in that movie.
Yeah, he is really dumb in that movie. Seriously. Yeah, absolutely. Next one is Bombastic Blake Diamond. What if Chi-Chi trained like Goku? We've had this one quite a few times, but basically, in short, basically, Chi-Chi would have a greater understanding about Goku's desire for training, and probably would not be as bothered with Gohan training as well from time to time. She'd be much more mellow.
You know what I realized? Like, if she was training like Goku, so if she wanted to try out everything that Goku tried, can you imagine? Like because this is beaten over the head during that Chi-Chi is a great cook. If he actually convinced Beerus and Whis to give her a training and unlocked something in her.
Oh.
Because she's an amazing cook and she has the means to actually, bribe them.
Ah, yes. Yeah, actual, Bulma just doesn't throw money at the problem. Chi-Chi can
And
actually
technically, you could argue that, like, you could unlock Godki potential in humans, technically.
Yeah.
So it would be like if they actually managed to unlock Godki in Chi-Chi.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, next one is Nick Wolf. What if Kind Goku showed Bulma the Saiyan pod he came in, thinking it was the egg the stork brought him in? That sounds right. That makes sense.
Yes.
That's a new one.
That actually gives us an adequate reason for why Goku would show Bulma the space pod.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Grandpa Gohan would have just said about the stork, and then basically, and then Gohan would have taken him to it. So, you see, that's the egg you came in. Obviously intending him to tell him the truth sooner or later, but then he got squished. So Goku never learned the truth. So basically, he just thinks, oh, I was just blowing that egg.
Moss.
Yeah?
Thunder Student says that what he meant by us not answering the question and going on a tangent was the question of if Whis trained everyone after Beerus woke up in the Shadow Dragon saga.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Student, the problem with that is why would Whis train everyone?
It took like loads of cajoling to even get Vegeta to be trained.
And most of them are kinda old in Shadow Dragon.
Yeah, in Shadow Dragon Saga, it's far enough into the future that you're kind of hitting that point where they're not particularly in their prime anymore. And what's more is that, considering how GT ends, like, there's a lot of complications when it comes to that whole situation. You might wind up with maybe Whis trains like a couple of people, but they probably wouldn't be Goku and Vegeta. Not at that point in their lives. Maybe Whis might train Trunks and Pan. That might be something interesting, but I mean that's the full extent of it. There's no way Whis is training more than 2 of them at a time. No way in heck, or no way in Hiffle, as it were.
No, I think that's a good classifier in that way. Yeah, but
so there you go.
Yeah, Nick
going back to
had a
that
second one saying very silly, but what if Videl went Ultra Instinct on Z Broly? Well, I mean, Roshi's gone Ultra Instinct. I mean, stranger things have happened. It would be funny. Technically, she kind of did, in the sense that she was actually able to dodge Broly. And Super Saiyan Broly. She was able to dodge.
In Second Coming?
Yeah. She was able to dodge. So, yeah. Who's to say that she didn't already?
We can't talk about those classic Broly movies. They're so...
Yeah.
They're just so bad.
Oh.
It's so dumb, but so cool, but so dumb.
Yeah. Alright, Luis CERESA. What if Jiren surpassed not existing at end of Tournament of Power?
He would be very sad at the end of the day.
Yeah, he would have nothing to guide. He'd have nothing to strive for anymore. Basically. Pretty much.
Yeah.
No goal, and therefore Jiren would have nothing to do. Yeah. Alright, 23 days later is... What if Goku Black's time ring sent him to Universe 6 instead? So it wasn't just like, it was a time ring, but also took them to like a different place.
Oh, it wouldn't be as nice with him as Goku.
Oh no, basically no. He'd completely ice. He'd ice Black instantly.
He would make a donut out of him.
Yes, he would make many donuts out of that guy. So yeah, 23 days later, that is definitely a thing.
And he would go after Goku, thinking that's you know, that's something that Goku is capable of becoming.
Yeah, exactly. Sonic 16 Links 20. What if a Saiyan girl, Olivia, was stashed in Goku's pod? Someone Chi-Chi would see as a rival for Goku's affection. So I think this is probably their headcanon in a way. So basically, if there were two babies, as it were,
but they would be raised as siblings.
They would be raised by siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get into that. You get into a bit of wonky, weird anime pseudo incest territory right there that I'm not going to even pretend to tread on. I do like how funnily, like, because at first I was thinking Olivia. That doesn't really sound like a suitable Dragon Ball name. But then I realized, oh wait, Olive. Yeah. So, honestly, it's another one of those situations where you wind up with a character who really doesn't fit into the timeline in any kind of functional way without really kind of trying to square peg round hole the whole situation. Honestly, I'd have to think on it a little more, because dealing with an OC like that is really rough.
Yeah, it's also a bit tricky just to do it justice. Alright, the Tricksters next. What if Beerus and Whis found Goku as a kid and started to train him from there? Maybe add Vegeta coming in as well, because Goku getting bored and wanting a friend. Okay, this is slightly different to if he was, you know, sent to, like, Beerus's world or something like that. So it's slightly different. So basically, you know, Whis found this kid or something like that. Basically, oh, it's a Saiyan. Or that kind of looks like the thing that Beerus was talking about. Like, maybe just an odd curiosity or something like that. But I think probably maybe Whis would be like the Monolith from 2001 and kind of steer Goku towards that direction. Like, give him the best opportunities to realize his potential. You know, in that kind of sense.
He would boop him right into adulthood.
Oh,
come on.
Oh,
come on, he can do that.
Well, he basically can do anything. That's the beauty of all of this, is that Whis' powers are so mysterious, they can literally do anything. He is a walking MacGuffin. And to be honest, normally I would be very, very annoyed by that kind of stuff, but with Whis, I'm willing to make an exception.
As much as you know, it's not overused, it's alright, because it's very, you know, Tolkien-like type of magic, but, you know, as much as Whis doesn't become, oh hey, Whis solve the saga. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No?
Neon Knight Rider. What if the Ginyu Force arrived with Frieza or Namek? I always found it odd how Frieza's elite squad was not there from the beginning. Well, the reason why they weren't there is because they weren't needed. Frieza literally did an assessment of this planet and was like, basically, oh, their power levels don't rise above 10,000. I could do this myself with just Zarbon and Dodoria, as well as maybe some soldiers, and that's it. Basically,
yeah, and you kind of...
they're off doing other things.
You also have to remember, like, the way that power scaling was back then. Like Zarbon and Dodoria. There's a fusion name for you. Zarbon and Dodoria. Zarbon and Dodoria were so far beyond, like, most of the warriors on Namek, and they weren't Frieza's, like, top class soldiers. Like, they managed to pacify most of the planet with, like, the typical foot soldiers that were around anywhere between, like, 2,000 and 3,000 point power levels,
and they were there mostly for companionship.
And it pretty much. And so you wind up in a situation where it's like, if they brought the Ginyu Force, all it would have been was wasted labor when they could be in other places in Frieza's empire pacifying stronger planets or anything like that, you know.
Basically, I don't imagine Frieza being one of those people to, like, you know, waste resources in that way. Nene Sword. What if Arale was one of the fighters for Universe 7 during the Tournament of Power? Is Jiren stronger than a gag manga character? No. Honestly, that would have made
Arale would
hilarious.
Win.
Yeah. No, basically, she'd walk up to Jiren and say, "Ja, you're taking a nap? Okay, I'll take nap too." she takes a nap and just waits for Jiren to wake up. Oh, hey, you woke up! Basically, bonk! As in, just like bonks Jiren on the head. And Jiren has got like he can't counter this little gag manga character. And Vegeta's just like in the distance with his arms crossed, go like, he has no idea how a gag manga character works. It's like, he has no idea for the pain he's about to receive.
You know what would be kind of funny? I feel that Arale would either break Jiren or get to, like, amuse him, you know? Like, if any character would get beyond, you know, like, thick skin of Jiren.
Oh, yeah.
And actually make him like, feel irritated or smirk or something, that would be Arale. I imagine them becoming a very odd couple and friends after this. Weirdly enough.
I honestly really want to do a gag dub of that in a way.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. Mr. Stark Belmont, thank you for your super chat. Blake James, what if Piccolo forced Gohan to master Uzaru? Well, okay. Say, for example, they did. And Gohan was able to control it, sort of. And he'd have a power level of roughly about 11,000. So if he was able to go a Great Ape and stuff like that against Nappa, oh no, actually, no. So basically, if they had that power and they were able to make the moon, I don't think it would really make much of a difference. It would, it might help against the Cybermen, but against Nappa, his power would go up to 40,000, and Vegeta 180,000. So basically, it'd be like, yeah, it's a good idea, but honestly, it just would not be practical.
That's one of the biggest problems with the Ozaru. We are told that this is that unstoppable force, but its gains are so small when compared to anything that comes next. It's laughable. Like,
it's a
Ozaru,
big deal against Kaioken times 3. Yes, certainly,
yeah,
but maybe 30
Ozaru should be in, you know, like I wouldn't mind if they retconned Ozaru to be scalable. Really.
Yeah, that would be true. Certainly.
I wouldn't mind that retcon because it's almost idiotic, you know, that Ozaru is so weak.
Blake Diamond's next saying, what if Arale was an android rather than a full robot, and thus could grow up and join the Z Fighters full time? Well, the thing is, though, is that, yeah, I have seen images of a teen Arale, knocking around. So, like, I think it was a Toriyama one, like, about what if, like, Arale was a teenager or something like that. But basically, if she was an android, the thing is, though, 17 and 18 don't age, really, or they age much slower because of all the gizmos inside of them. So basically, Arale would age, but very slowly. Like, by the time she were, like, a fully grown adult, probably the majority of the cast would have died of old age, or they'd be really old. So, in that regard, I think that's just the way it is. Chris G, what if Grandpa Gohan had lived? Oh, he probably would be there and a good influence in making sure that Goku actually developed a brain, as it were. But realistically, in terms of fighting, he would just be out in the woods. He'd just be there as, like, some kind of means of guidance and stuff like that. And then he would eventually die of old age, really. So, I think that's it, really. He'd just be, like, a means of guidance. And I imagine not too long after the Saiyan Saga, he would pass away. Or maybe he'd have passed away while they go to Namek. That's a good bit of news for Goku to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been nice to see Grandpa Gohan meet Baby Gohan. That would have been cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alejandro Gonzalez. What if Goku and Gohan were swapped? The person we call Gohan is Bardock and Gine's son, and the person we call Goku is his son. Okay. So basically, Gohan is like the product of Gine and Bardock, and he's like a smart young man, very individual and very polite. Goku's very polite as well, albeit a bit more selfish. But in that way, it's just a bit like, it'd be an interesting dynamic in the rage, as it were.
Yeah, but the problem is like I understand what you are going for, but the problem is how would he get to that point with the same upbringing? Because upbringing is the way how Goku, was raised is a huge part of why he is the way he is.
Mm.
So I don't know if if Gohan would be able to fully explore his smarts with Grandpa Gohan that well, especially after his death. I don't know, like I don't think that the difference would be that much, really, considering what was the circumstances of of Grandpa Gohan finding Goku.
Okay, well that's fair. Donovan Warren, what if Roshi regained his youth? Okay, so basically if he became young again, I imagine he would probably try and like say, well, okay, that thing didn't work when I was young, I'm gonna try something else. And stuff like that. He'd basically just be himself, only more willing to actually go out and try and like meet people. And you'd see it as like a second chance, as it were. I think that's to be. Seldrin Black Book, what if Chi-Chi was trained in Ultra Instinct by Master Roshi and Whis? Guys, Master Roshi does not know Ultra Instinct.
He doesn't know. Like it is even explained that he kinda dodged Jiren because Jiren like expected to take him in one punch, and like it's not Ultra Instinct. It was
it was an underestimation of a guy who's a 300-year-old martial arts master. It's not Ultra Instinct. It's just literally
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, okay. So it was Whis. So in a way, we can go back to what we said earlier about bribery with Chi-Chi being able to cook. So I think as part of that, Chi-Chi would be trained and get God Key. Yeah, and we'd have some kind of superhuman god, as it were. So
Chi-Chi as a god of destruction. I think she would be a good one, to be quite honest.
Oh, it would Toriyama would do it. Toriyama would so do
it. I mean, God of Destruction Chi-Chi is still better fate for her than being the boss of the cooking community.
True. That is very true. That is fair. Blake James is next. What if Android 8 was upgraded and renamed 19? Well, I think Android 8's not really proud of being an android. To be honest, he just wants to live his life.
I think the implication there is that Jiro
he takes
succeeds and kidnaps him and wipes his memory, makes it a more emotionally driven system. You could bring back all of Ader's friends for the sake of trying to reach out to him, and then Jiro could be like, unfortunately, you are not going to be able to actually awaken any memories inside of him. I've deleted everything.
You could have Dr. Frapp and Jiro having a debate after years.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. And maybe you could tap a little bit further into the question of whether or not the mechanical the purely mechanical androids, as opposed to the cyborgs, have souls and have life to them, and maybe Ader still does recover his memories because power of friendship and all that type of stuff. It's a very, very Japanese sort of situation when it comes to the whole Nakama concept or Nakama concept.
Okay, that's true. Okay, Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Android 16 was actually Dr. Jiro's son, assuming he had a similar personality to 16 and was the only one with the Red Ribbon Army due to his father? Well, he's basically modeled off. I mean, the only way that would be able to be is if he were like a bio, basically an android instead of a robot. So basically, if there was some way that Jiro somehow managed to cryogenically freeze his son's body and then make it into that kind of sense. But in a way, he wouldn't have been able to. In that way, he wouldn't have been able to sense energy, and 16 was useful in that regard of being able to have a radar. So basically, they would have had no chance in finding the Goku without.
Also, again, I cannot stress this enough. we don't have guarantee that he would be as good and nice as 16.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt that his personality was in some way similar. We kind of have at least a little bit of supplementary material that kind of implies that the robot that Jiro was ultimately creating wound up emulating his son a little too much to the point to where he didn't want it fighting. But even that is kind of a bit of a leap of logic, because you can't assume that a robot created in a person's likeness is going to act just like the person.
And we know, one important. It was Red Ribbon RB loyalty. So you have to ask yourself, well, who follows Red Ribbon Army willingly? He was a true believer of sorts. So...
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Anime Guy 01, what if Goku went with Raditz to save the Earth? Well, we sort of actually do that in our What If Goku Defeated Roshi series.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that, if you want to get a good idea, Anime Guy, you can check out that one. Only Lord Mickey, what if Launch's Pufferfish Stew ended up doing in Master Roshi, Krillin, and Launch?
Oof.
Oof. Well, okay, let's play the sound. Yeah, that would have not gone well. And yeah, I think that the sound says it all. But yeah, that would have been a major oof for the crew, certainly. ZV Tic Tac VZ, thank you very much for your super chat. Red Dragon Force is back again with from a two-filled-off. What if Yamcha joined Goku to train with Master Roshi after Pilaf? I think it strained Yamcha and Bulma's budding relationship, though. I think it would, as it were. That relationship would be very difficult to kind of get off the ground. But at the same time, you sort of get that in the case of being reincarnated as Yamcha. Because that's what he does, I think. He actually goes off and goes with Goku to, like, train. So,
and we do that in Capsule Corp Goku as well.
Yes, exactly. So we do have it. So basically, yeah, it may compromise. It may compromise things, but at the same time, it does have potential for being quite an interesting story. Alright, Red Dragon Force 2 again from a guy called Goku. Hey, Kamikolo. Oh, no, it's... Hey, Kamikolo! Piccolo. What's up, Goku Rot? Oh, I think it's based around fusions or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's just a joke on the fact that that obviously, you know, Kami and Piccolo now fused into one being, but at the same time, Goku, even though he's only one guy, still has two names. So
yeah. Okay. All right. That's a fair point. Grant Niels now.
Yeah.
Do you think Super will make a cooler movie, and how would you want it to go? Yeah, I think honestly, Haverok and I think that that's definitely going to be the plot of the next movie. It's going to be around Cooler. Because that's.
I mean, they've already canonized Broly, and the second most popular villain from the movie series was Cooler.
Keeping Frieza in another movie, bring in his brother. It's so easy.
And you give Frieza something to do other than, you know, like hitting him against the Saiyans.
Exactly. So yeah, we totally see Cooler filming out that. Leo Matthews, what if Trunks underwent Super Saiyan God ritual during the Goku Black arc? Well, if you want to get an idea, check out the Super Dragon Ball Hero special where he is actually a Super Saiyan God. But if he did, during the Goku Black arc, and he was able to do it, like the first time they went to the future, I think Trunks would actually stand a chance.
Zamasu would be furious to see that.
Oh, it would make Zamasu really angry.
Also, can I say one thing? Like, I think I'm actually the only person in existence that kind of digs that design. Not the way it's drawn, but like, I kind of like how Trunks looks like this. I think I'm the only person who actually.
How Trunks looks like which?
Super Saiyan God Trunks.
Super Saiyan God Trunks.
Yeah.
Where did that show up?
Super Dragon Ball Heroes.
Oh yeah, I don't look at Super Dragon Ball Heroes.
I don't follow it either, but I saw some.
Share the picture. Share the picture with me, so that I can see what this Super Saiyan God Trunks looks like.
You will hate it. I know. You will hate it.
All right, next up, Dark Cloud Alpha. Comment from the last table. I always thought that dinosaurs and animal people should come from previous wishes. It would lead to great side stories. Yeah, it would actually be a bit more interesting. I mean, I like the whole idea about this Beastmen thing being from, like, some kind of weird drug, as it were, that just gone out of fashion. It does sound funny, but it does take away some of the charm of the world in a way. So I do see your point, Dark Cloud. Viper Phoenix, what if Slug came to Namek during the Frieza saga? Well, I imagine probably Frieza would end up basically just booping him out of existence, as it were. But, you know, I think it would have been a bit interesting interlude. You know, seeing a giant Namekian. And then Piccolo would just go, oh yeah, I could do that. I completely forgot. Huh. Red Dragon Force 2 again. What if Cooler decided to stop fighting after seeing Super Saiyan? I don't think he would want to... I don't think he would, because... Okay, let's say for the sake of argument, he did. If he saw that, and that was the thing that destroyed his brother, he would try and find some way of being able to utilize it in a way. Or he would actually just kind of roll along with it, or he have to resort to different tactics in order to beat him. Like, he would leave the planet, but then destroy the planet, like, from a greater distance. Or, like, in a way that Goku would have no time to be able to counter it. In that kind of way. He'd have to be a bit more strategic. Philip Perkins has been extra. What if Goku and Gohan went Super Saiyan on Namek? If they both went Super Saiyan, I mean, Gohan would be a bit stronger, but at the same time, he would still not be strong enough against Frieza. But unless they fought together. If they fought together, that might have helped. And I don't think Gohan would have allowed Goku to, like, let him get a chance to power up to 100%. Because Gohan would be barely able to control it. And just be absolutely furious in that way. Because we sort of saw that happen in the Room of Spirit and Time. Like, Gohan could barely handle it the first time he had it. So, yeah. Red Dragon Force 2 again. From Augustus Abrams, how would you guys rewrite Shadow Dragons, and could this be implemented into GBG of our the GT Raditz story?
You need to wait out for this, because there are hints that we are doing something with the Dragon Balls. They're writing weird, you know.
Yeah. Wait for part 4 of that.
I have had so many interesting ideas in the past about how to go about, like, maybe doing a rewrite of the Shadow Dragons arc. It's way too invested and too much to get to with the remaining time for the stream, but maybe I'll do a video on it on my channel at some point, like a drag analysis, because I really want to go back and revisit some of those points, especially after watching Totally Not Mark's revisit of Dragon Ball GT. The Shadow Dragon concept has so much incredible potential, and I actually really loved the idea of, like, the Dragon Balls, because they became such a MacGuffin, such a gimmick, such a plot device over the course of Dragon Ball Z. I actually loved the idea that Dragon Ball GT actually had there be consequences to the abuse of the constant abusing of the use of the Dragon Balls. So I've considered rewriting that 1,000,001 times, and so I do have some ideas kind of kicking back in the back of my head.
Cool. Well, we look forward to hearing about them soon, maybe. Alright, next up is Blake Diamond. Giant Kamikolo versus Hirudegarn. Who wins? Probably still Hirudegarn. I mean, it would be amazing to see Giant Kamikolo fighting Hirudegarn. But ultimately, Hirudegarn has a second form. So even if it was against the first form, it would still be a little bit close. But second form, no contest. But yeah, it would still be awesome, though. Gizmo Hibiki. What if Vegeta was raised by Grandpa Gohan instead? DragonBallZ. That's what you get. You get DragonBallZ.
Check out the fan manga DragonBallZ. It's very popular, it's well drawn, it's pretty interesting, and Vegeta's older than Goku is, which means that his relationship with Bulma is a little different. So
certainly. James Cameron's next. Thank you for the 2 Gohan what-ifs. Truly amazing. I feel like the Gohan more like Broly what-if would have a bad end like Gohan destroying North Galaxy. Also, what if Goku control the mighty Ozaru power? Well, the thing is that if Goku actually had the ability to control Ozaru, like maybe after the first time he had it, and then actually, you know, after the first time at the end of the Pilaf saga, he was able to control it during the 21st tournament, it would have actually ended up being a bit more like he could actually wield it a bit more. It probably would be very useful against King Piccolo.
Yeah,
useful.
I think it would be useful. I think it would be useful in the early era.
Yes.
But I think that after he came to the realization that it all depends on at what point he has the realization that the reason his grandfather is dead is because of him. That
Listen.
I feel like he might not want to use it just because of that sort of association in his mind and his past.
I just have the mental image of Giant King Piccolo versus Ozaru.
I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah.
That would be a cool fight to see. I totally agree. That would be a really good one to see. Jack doubts next. What if Zamasu gets amnesia by damage as price for immortality? He tries to get his memories by pursuing Goku, but gets lost in the time stream further back in time. He's hit en route, thus forgot what he was doing entirely. Okay, so basically, if he forgot everything, if he basically forgot his crusade for the Zero Mortal plan, he basically just go back to what he was before. He basically revert back to his, kind training.
But he knows. If he knew that it has something to do with Goku, maybe he would thought, "Oh, my fate is to protect this child," and he was lost in the time streams at the time that Goku was a baby.
So basically, he thinks he's meant to be Goku's guardian angel.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
You know what?
Let's make a note of this.
I think we are doing
We'll
this.
make a note of this. Good one, Jack. Nick Wolf's next. Sorry if I went a little too far. I just wanted to make fun of Master's impression. As tonight has proven, Sophie has a lovely and expressive voice.
You didn't go too far at all. I thought it was hilarious.
No, Nick says that you have a lovely and expressive voice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Alright, DYNELEGACY's next. What if Goku didn't come back to life for a day? Well, that would have been a very big problem in terms of the Buu saga, because there would have been one less person to try and wind their way down to Deborah. That would have been very tricky. I'll play the sound. Yeah, granted, though, they might have been able to buy more time, though, before Buu was resurrected, because Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is nowhere near as strong as Goku. So it probably might have taken a little bit longer, but yeah, still, things would have been a bit more tricky. They would have had to find some other way to bring Goku back to help. Louis CERESA, what if a villain had White Diamond style mind control? Well, basically, had powers like, we got to see in with Chaozu, telekinesis and all that kind of stuff, using mind powers.
Well, in this instance, I think the mind control aspect of it, the actual converting somebody into a thrall, is the more important question being asked here. Something like what White Diamond did to Pink's Pearl, but working on organics. So honestly, it really kind of depends on how you would scale White Diamond's power in the Dragon Ball universe. But I mean, if that power worked on organics, there would be a lot of trouble. Like, if White Diamond is considered a powerful being, then you'd be looking at a real, almost like a Borg scenario that could mean quite a lot of bad things for the Dragon world.
Yeah, that could be very iffy, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, okay. Next one is... Oh, well, Nerd King's come back at it again. With another donation. Thank you so much, dude. Basically asking, would it be possible to write short story about one of your stories? I won't publish it out of respect to Megane-chan and others. I just want to see if writing classes paid. Could I send on Facebook if I wrote a one-shot? Dude, Nerd King, you can publish it. You can put it on fanfiction.
If you want to write
like that, you can, totally.
We are doing fanfics, like
yeah, these are fanfics.
Yeah, these are
it's not like we
fanfics.
are calling Toei, hey, Toei, can we do that? No,
we do appreciate you wanting to ask for permission, but I mean, that's it's like you're more than welcome.
You can publish it and just send the link, because I want to do more of those story time things.
I would love to read somebody writing a story based on something I've done. I mean, I've only done one what if so far, but...
So yeah, no, Nerd King, if you want to do it, by all means, go for it. Just link it to me when you're done. Exiled Summoner. I saw a cool one. Good Raditz versus good Nappa. Who would win? I imagine probably it would be very equal. But I think ultimately Raditz would win.
Yeah.
Raditz would win because he has blue. He has blue, and I think at the same time, I think he's kind of cooled down a lot. Whereas Nappa probably would just be like a bit like...
And overall, I think overall Raditz just has better potential as a fighter in those timelines.
Yeah. Although having said that...
Also, you got to remember that if you're going based on the universes that Mawson have created when it comes to Good Boy Raditz and Good Boy Nappa, Nappa's hitting that kind of point in his life where the prime of his life is kind of over, and so he's starting to hit the weaker side of Saiyan biology and age.
Yeah.
So that could wind up coming into play.
Yeah. No, certainly. But yeah, now Isabella, one of our artists, Isabella, she's come up with a really nice crossover comic of various what if stories, and we might dub that in between R&R episode 5 and 6. We might do something with that.
It would be a lot of fun.
It'd be very, very dramatic, and I like it. Artex GTM. Hey guy, I really enjoyed this live show. Well, thanks Artex. What if Goku was son of Bardock and queen of planet Vegeta, and what would be the reaction of Raditz and Vegeta? So basically, it was Bardock and, for example, Cassava. So basically, it wasn't Gine. Vegeta would be horrified, and Raditz would be basically just like, well, you're not my brother then. Yeah, he'd be a bit less willing to help. Because, you know, related to Vegeta.
He would be, in this scenario, he would be a half-brother to both Raditz and Vegeta.
Oh, okay. It's like... You can't kill me. I'm your half brother.
This would mean let us assume that because the queen is obviously the queen, her official marriage is to King Vegeta, right?
Yeah.
And we know that Bardock and Gine have a closer relationship than most Saiyan couplings do. Doesn't this basically make Goku like? Not, of course, the term, but there's really no other way to put it. Doesn't this basically just make him a royal bastard?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah, you must be Bardock's bastard.
It's just that alliteration just makes it sound so satisfying.
The bastard of Goku, bastard of Bardock.
Oh gosh.
Goku as played by Kid Harington.
No, basically, so turns out you're a bit of a bastard. It's like, and basically he'd be that simpering look. I mean, not even King...
the gormless expression.
Not even he could save Pompeii the movie, and he was basically they cast him because of Jon Snow. He's like, you know nothing, Son Goku.
No, because then Goku would have to marry Suno because she's kissed by fire.
Oh yes, of course. Okay, let's move on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's alright. Eldon Kai knew a technique that brought out a warrior's power, ultimate form. What if that form was a snippet of Ultra Instinct? He wasn't supposed to learn it, but observe, and Beerus imprisoned him. We've actually had I think we've had this once before, in a way. Because, like, in a way, like, if Ultimate was, like, a different way to get to Ultra Instinct. So, in a way, it kind of is, but just relying on the instinctive natural potential of a person. So, it's like a variation. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be sort of interesting. Like, maybe that could be a cool way... That could be a cool way of explaining, like, how the Elder Kai got locked inside that sword. Like, basically, she kind of, basically, the Elder Kai had this power. Beerus found out. You dare try to impose my role and all this kind of thing. The Elder Kai does it. They have a row. Beerus locks him in the sword. It's a good theory. It's a good explanation as to why he would probably be in there. I like that. I like that, but let's make a note of it.
Yep.
DAYLEN 64. What if Frost was born in Universe 7 instead of Frieza? how do you think that would affect the story? Would there even be a story? No, I think there would be a story. Basically, in a way that it would be the propaganda that Frost is there on Namek on a peace mission, trying to find the most peaceful race in the entire universe. And finding out Dragon Balls. It's like, oh, give me your Dragon Balls, and I will be able to help make sure that your planet is the most prosperous in the galaxy. And then
I think that...
yeah.
Yeah.
It...
Go on.
No, you go on.
Yeah. So I would say Frost would be like, if Frost was a thing and he was in command of the Frost Force would be less powerful and less genocidal. They would be more like thieves than cold-blood killers, I think.
Less glamorous in a way.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, next up is Bombastic Blake Diamond. What if Goku landed at Mr. Satan's school? Well, you can imagine him being a very prodigious child and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think pretty much you'd have friends in that way, and yeah, I think that's pretty much how it would be. Alright, next up is Sassy Cat. What if Yamcha found and raised Goku? If he did, he probably raised him as his little brother. Kind of like, almost like a Kamina Simon type thing. You know, he'd be the cool older brother in that form. Goku Longan.
I think that would be an interesting dynamic to see Yamcha and Goku with a closer, more familial relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old is Yamcha in DB? How much is?
I believe he's around the same age as Bulma, like maybe a year or two older.
Yeah. But it's just
in the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he's like an Earth teenager, so he actually looks his age. So yeah.
Let me check.
Yeah, okay. Alright, until then, Mr. Michael Law,
Yeah,
2011. What if Bulma and Chi-Chi wish to become Saiyans? Okay, say for example, they wish to become Saiyans to kind of, in a way, as a fact-finding mission to try and understand what makes their husbands tick. I mean, honestly, it would.
I could also see them maybe making the wish just so that they'd have equal longevity to their husbands.
If they found out that longevity thing.
Yeah.
If they found out they could guarantee to live until at least 80.
Sorry, hate to break the previous one, but like, Yamcha would have been 4 years old at the time when Goku's landed.
Okay, so basically if he was a desert bandit, the thing is though, in most anime, 6-year-olds can be perfectly functional members of society.
I know.
Somehow. Somehow.
In most anime and Japanese video games, you can become a practicing member of the prosecutor's office at the age of 14.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen. But yeah, in terms of Bulma and Chi-Chi, I know why people want them to become Saiyans, because they'd have the fan service of having the tails and being that animalistic nature and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of their personalities already, they're kind of Saiyans anyway, because that's what drew Goku and Vegeta to them. They reminded them of Saiyan women. That was the thing. Their personalities wouldn't really change that much. They just have tails, and that's it. And Bulma probably would chop hers off already. Yeah. Red Dragon.
So in the way they would be similar to Sonic because he also has tails.
Oh, jeez.
And Knuckles.
Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku obtained God Key from King Kai and got Super Saiyan God? Oof. He'd have to tell the most ultimate joke. Like, Goku tells a joke so good that King Kai said, "Hey, you know what? I was gonna save this for much later in case a certain cat came by. I gotta teach you this, bro. You're just a... if you let me use that joke on, like, the Grand Kai, you can have this for free, bro." Basically, yeah, it's the best joke, the funniest joke in the galaxy, and King Kai knows it now. He'd be... Oh, seriously, I'll be a riot at parties. That kind of stuff. I think he would do it almost as a way. And if Goku got Super Saiyan God somehow, Yeah, basically his power would be absolutely amazing right from the get-go. Vegeta would be toast. Zefty, thank you very much for your super chat. Podo, we have time for this in this stream. What if instead of a free-for-all, the Tournament of Power was a tag team tournament with mirror universe tag teams like Universe 6 with 7? I mean, yeah, in terms, that could be an interesting one, I would say. It's just in the case of actually having the teams working together. But I can imagine that initially being really, really difficult with Universe 6 and 7 trying to work together. And then basically they then ultimately have to focus. So I think, yeah, that could be something that was very precarious, would you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a delicate way of telling this, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look, because apparently the Trickster... Oh, yeah, no, Trickster, we did say your super chat earlier. So...
Yeah.
It was the what if Beerus and Whis found Goku as a kid and started to train him from there. Yeah, we did answer that a while ago. So if you want to scroll back once you get the archive, we did answer that question for you. So, yeah, just so you know. Yeah, so Tiffany Martin just says, hi. Well, hello, Tiffany. And thank you very much for your super
Hello,
chat.
Tiffany.
Hey.
And our last one, Aries Oblivion. What if Goku and Vegeta and Raditz went to Earth? Well, basically, I would say that they would all work as a team. But I think with Vegeta there, I think the plan would be still to destroy the planet. So it wouldn't be good for Earth. But it would be a very interesting thing to having a team of Saiyans. So at least Vegeta and Raditz would have a chance to actually have a free life. Could make a difference. So yeah. And Red Dragon Force is the actual one. Any plans for more Kakarot streaming? Maybe. I've kind of lost the impetus to play it. It's only because I've been away for the last few couple of weeks. And
RDF, you're not setting a very good example when it comes to super chat submissions closed.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
Moss.
but that was pretty much that was pretty much what what we did. So I will get back to it. Probably next Friday. So maybe on the 6th. So
it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind because on the subject of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, right? It boggles my mind that Dragon Ball is a series and a concept and a universe with so much inherent potential, and for some reason they can't make a decent freaking game. It's like even Xenoverse is like what everybody should want in concept, being able to create an OC and go and do all of this important stuff across the Dragon Ball timeline. Like, that's the core concept that everybody loves, right? Everybody wants to make a Dragon Ball OC and put them into the story, but even Xenoverse is not very good. And Kakarot, the more I have seen of it, is just like, we're just rehashing the same thing over and over and over again. Please.
You know why is that? They are afraid to make a truly open world experience that would be better in that case.
Okay, Fighters, excuse me for one moment, Marsazarn. First off, don't tell me to shut the hell up. Second of all, Fighters is a fighting game, and even its story isn't all that great. And the character of the excuses they come up with are totally like contradictory. The entire like lore behind like, oh, everybody's on equal footing, is like they immediately make that not the case, because ultimately the Saiyans are the ones that are still the important ones. And Android 21 is not a good character. She's not. She is a horribly written, horribly framed character who is presented as basically a trumped-up sex doll for the audience to gaze at her tits and ass. Pardon the language.
Well, okay, that was a bit of a fiery end to proceedings.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, on
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on a rampage. I apologize.
Well, on that bombshell, basically, I think it's time to end the stream. So basically, thank you all so much for your contributions, and your what ifs have been really good, and if you're new to these, thank you so much for tuning in for all of this, and there will be an archive in that regard. All I can say is, though, you know, with the voice actress who played 21, that was a very strong welcome and a very strong performance. She did very well, but it's just I wish that that she will have more characters.
Yeah, exactly. The actress behind her did a very good job. The direction and the framing was what the problem was in the writing.
But that was like due to the original game. But either way,
Mm-hmm.
thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Saturday with the next What If Piccolo Never Saved Gohan part, and we will see you very soon. And so you'll just have a good rest of your night, or day, or tomorrow, or wherever it is you are watching this video. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Have a good one. Bye.